welcome to the second episode of our podcast. Thank you for all the support on our first episode.
Today we have a special guest to talk about the luxury watch market. Rahul, take it over.
Hi, my name is Rahil. I'm Aaron's cousin. I'm a watch dealer based in Hong Kong.
For the 1% of the population who are like as clueless about watches and anything to do with that market like me, I was wondering what are the features that make a good product like watch? And if we could see some of your current stock, like what are your favorite pieces and why?
So what makes a watch so expensive and what makes it special is, so there are a few things. It's the brand and the brand's history. But for most watch collectors, they are more interested in the mechanics behind the watch. So like how it's engineered and how a watch can keep accurate time without actually having a battery in it. Everything works on screws and springs, and a watch's value comes from how accurate it can keep time. So this is some of the stock we have right now. Most of them are Rolexes, and up here are Vacheron Constantine. But for the most part, we deal in Rolex, AP, Patek, Philippe. Yeah. So if we're talking about what my favorite piece from this would be, it's this one. This is,
Is that a Rolex?
Yeah, this is a solid yellow gold Daytona, Rolex Daytona. It's one of the rarer pieces that Rolex makes because the production is extremely low for this. So this is special because the official Rolex price for this is around 300,000, but the market value for this right now is close to $1 million Hong Kong dollars.
So part of the value added and like part of the reason behind the premium price tag is also material in terms of like, as you mentioned, yellow gold, and also like the craftsmanship behind the product itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, most of the value, so as I said, Rolex sells this watch for 300,000, but because it's so hard for people to get their hands on, it's not available at that price. If you go to any Rolex shop in Hong Kong, and if you look for any of the watches that I just showed you in that box, chances are they won't have it in stock. They'll just tell you that you'll have to wait for a couple months or a couple years, and then you might have a chance to buy it. But yeah, because they never have stock, dealers like me can ask $1 million for a $300,000 watch, and people are buying it at that price because people are willing to pay that price to get the watch now than wait 5 years.
And so what attracted you to the watch market, and how did you decide on this career?
What attracted me to the watch market? So about 3 years ago, I wanted to buy myself a watch. So I was saving up money and trying to make money for myself so that I could buy that watch that I wanted. And when I was researching the watch that I wanted, I learned about the secondary watch market, which is the market that I work in right now. Basically, I found out that the watch I wanted, I would not be able to buy from a Rolex store because they never have stock. So I would have to look at other dealers that are like me. When I was researching that, I found out that they were selling the watch for say $20,000-$30,000 more than what I thought the watch was going to be worth. So when I found out about that, I started learning more about the watch market, and I kind of built my network with other dealers in Hong Kong. And eventually I really liked how the whole industry worked. And so I thought I'd get into it too, because I was then able to buy that watch I wanted. And then once I bought it, I realized I could have sold it for more. So I sold it, and with that profit, I bought another watch, and then kept flipping it, and then bought more watches.
Yeah. I think watches are safe investments, so overall.
Yeah. I always explain it like this to my customers. If these watches were not safe investments, I wouldn't have them in my stock, because then it would be dangerous for me to keep them.
Of course.
Yeah.
So how do you actually, like over the last couple of months, have they been like good investments? Which watches have actually been the best investments?
So everything you see here are pieces that will have and will continue to appreciate over time. Like I'll give you that same, or I'll take this watch. In November, this watch was $320,000. That was what, 6 months ago?
Yeah.
6 months ago. 6 months ago, this watch was $320,000, and today it's about 480 to 500,000. So that's just over 6 months. And then if you go back to this gold watch, this was 600,000 in December, and now it's almost 1 million. So in terms of long term, even if you wear the watch like I'm wearing right now, the watch will appreciate enough for so that once you even if you buy the watch new, wear it for a couple of years and then sell it in a pre-owned condition, you'll probably still make money on it. And
Yeah.
that's mainly for steel watches, steel or sports watches as a whole.
Right, that makes sense. But what do
Yeah.
you think about the next 6 months? So you talked about the last
Yeah.
6 months, right?
Yeah. So every year there's a cycle basically from November till February, which is like the holiday season. We have Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and then Chinese New Year in Hong Kong. So it's like a gift giving sort of season. So the market is very hot at that time because everyone's buying watches. Once we get over that February period and we're in March and April, the market sort of slows down because the new watches, all the new watches for all the brands release in April every year. So nobody really wants to buy watches at that time because they want to see what new stuff is going to come out and then maybe think about what to buy later.
Yeah.
So over the summer period, it would usually slow down. And so you would see prices sort of very slightly come down. But yeah, so I think over the next 6 months, we would see, over the next 3 months, we'll see the prices come down a little bit and then shoot up again after November.
So which particular watches do you think will like appreciate in value? Do you have any predictions?
So, I mean, right now I have, so this year, a lot of watch dealers are, they're betting on Vacheron Constantine because of the way they've, because of how fast the AP prices, the Audemars Piguet watches prices, they've gone up into like the Patek Philippe level. So if you look at it like this, Patek Philippe is here in terms of prices, then AP, then it's Vacheron Constantine. But now when AP's prices have reached Patek Philippe level, there's that empty gap, which people think Vacheron Constantine is going to occupy now. So these are very strong investments now. These are the same thing as what I'm wearing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. And like, in luxury watches, right? You talked about prices increasing and all, but is there any chance of them going down, like of certain models or over certain periods of time?
Yeah, so for the most part, ladies' watches, like two-tone models or pieces which have a lot of, which are very easily available, those prices are probably going to go down after you wear them because they're easily available. Anyone can go ahead and find them. Whereas these watches, these are all rare watches that you won't be able to find anywhere. So for these watches, for Rolex sports watches, steel watches, or solid gold watches, precious metal watches, they are always safe. They're always going to go up in value. But when you talk about like two-tone models, which are the two-tone models and the smaller dials, so something like this, this would still go up, but this is a smaller dial, so the value of this watch won't go up so much because the market is, they lean towards larger sized watches. Yeah, so ladies' watches as a whole usually go down in value.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But basically what you're trying to say is like scarcity makes the prices go higher, right? If they're more harder to find and all that.
Yeah, like if you have you heard of Richard Mille?
Mhm.
Richard Mille?
Which-
Yeah. So they have an annual production of anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 pieces a year. So as opposed to Rolex, who produce 1 million pieces a year. So because their production is so low, people can ask like 8 million, 10 million, 20 million Hong Kong dollars for those watches, and people are still willing to pay for them because they're so hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Fair
there
enough.
are customers that pay that amount of money for a singular watch.
Yeah, I mean, they're the people who buy those watches are mainly they're like very, very strong collectors. They have to obviously they have to have the money to spend $20 million on a watch, but them putting the money into that watch is more like an investment because that watch is limited. Most of them are limited edition. So if that if that piece that they invested in at $20 million, uh, if nobody's able to get their hands on them, the price is going to continue going up because there's less and less available in the market.
Do people who buy like $8 million watches actually wear them, or do they just like buy it solely for investment and they just like keep it away?
Depends. There are people who like to buy a watch and then put it straight in the safe as an investment, and there are also people who like to buy a watch, enjoy it, and then not lose an arm and a leg. Like they know they want to buy a watch and know that they're not going to lose any money on it. So it depends. For people that are buying $8 million watches, I've seen some people that do wear them, but I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know any of my customers that buy watches and then just keep them in the safe. Most of them want to wear them.
But I think like we've been seeing that watch prices have been going up like over many years. But recently in the last 1 or 2 years, like during COVID and all, the prices have like surged massively of certain watches and luxury watches in particular. So what are the major reasons of this hike in price recently?
So at the start of COVID, nobody was working, so all the factories shut down, and so there was a shortage of supply because nobody was actually manufacturing the watches. So there was a small surge because of that, but those factories opened up quite fast again, and so their manufacturing started up again, basically. So um, a lot of people in the industry are saying that because people are getting loans from the government and they're getting furlough, they're just getting more, what's the word? They have more money to spend now because they're going out less. So because in lockdown, for example, nobody was able to go out, go shopping, or go to restaurants. People had more money. People were not able to spend their money as fast. So when things started opening up now, people had an excess of cash, and they were able to buy watches more than they would have been able to before. Yeah.
Okay, so like the demand also went up during this COVID time and everything.
Yeah, because a lot of people were just sitting at home looking like on the internet, looking at just it was very easy to build hype over that time.
Oh, so now we understand that, watches go up in price and everything. But on a general note, what percent appreciation is on like a Rolex watch in like the last 2 years on average, if we see?
So, I mean, it's obviously different every year because it depends on the economic environment. But I would look at it, I think it's more accurate to look at it over a 6-month period rather than the whole year. So if you look at it from a 6-month period, you would have seen this go up maybe, I don't know percentage wise, but it went up like 300,000-400,000 Hong Kong dollars. You could see like this, which is the Pepsi. This went up from 175 Hong Kong to 240,000 Hong Kong. So that's like a $60,000-$70,000 gain on this watch. For pieces like this, for example, so this piece was discontinued in 2020, which means they stopped production completely on this specific model. If you can see it properly. Yeah. So because they stopped production, the supply of brand new pieces, because more and more people are buying them, right, as time goes on. So the supply of brand new condition watches, this one, they go lower and lower, which means the price of these go up. So like this one was 150,000, and just last month, I think it was about 230,000 brand new. So that's another 80,000 gain. So it really depends on the hype of the watches. I'll give you an example again. This watch, 6 months ago, it was $75,000, and today you could pick it up for today. I sell it for 76,000, right? So yeah, so 6 months ago, there wasn't much of a gain on this watch. It's just stable, which means it's a safe investment for people who just want to, buy it, wear it, and not lose money.
So it does vary a lot between watches.
It varies on the desirability of the watch. Like, again, this watch, it's a $50,000 watch that Rolex makes. So their retail price would be 50,000, and they discontinued this at the first week of April, and people were immediately asking $240,000 for it. So it's just based on hype. It's on the hype and basically how much somebody's willing to pay for it.
So I assume in Hong Kong there are a lot of watch dealers like yourself who are like kind of secondary watch dealers, as well as obviously the primary dealers who are like the brands themselves. So I was wondering what differentiates your specific business in comparison to the other competitors.
So in our market, because what we're selling is standardized with every dealer in the market, so all dealers will be able to, they all sell Rolex. It's not like I'm making the Rolex watch, or I'm not doing anything with the watch. I'm creating the watches. So for us, what we focus a lot on is the relationship that we build with our customers. So when a customer comes to us, or when a customer is looking to buy a $500,000 watch, they expect a certain level of service to come with that purchasing process, right? When they go to the stores and they're then told that they're not able to buy the watch, or they're gonna have to wait a couple of years to find the watch that they want, they're immediately put off, and it's a very bad purchasing experience. So what we try to do is give or provide that purchasing experience for those clients. So yeah, it's mainly our main thing is to build the relationship with our customers, so that say somebody comes to us and says, we want to buy this watch from you today, and I'll sell it to them, say for 150, whatever, for example, 150,000, and 2 months later they come back to me and say, oh, I want to sell this watch and buy another watch. I would then it's then my responsibility to support them and say that, okay, I will buy this watch back from you and then sell you the other watch, or you can trade it in. It's that sort of service that we try and give, so that our customers always come back to us, and we're always able to service them.
Right.
Yeah.
In the next 10 years, where do you see the potential growth for luxury watches compared to, like, let's say, high-end sneakers or high-end streetwear?
So while the hype is very similar in both industries, how the industries work is very different. If you look at watches as an asset class, over the last 10 years, we've seen the performance of watches outperform real estate and gold. So for a lot of the investors in Russia and China, and scattered over Europe, a lot of them have moved their liquid cash into watches because of how fast they're growing. Because for an asset like watches to grow and outperform real estate and gold, it says a lot about the industry and the prospects it has.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
But
right.
like, have you considered ever starting doing like dealings of like sneakers or streetwear and all those things?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be interested in sneakers and like just like the hype around it, but as a business, for me, I would prefer like the margin I would make selling a $5,000 shoe to somebody
Of course.
is maybe 1, 2, 3, whatever thousand, right? Because I'm going to be buying it and selling it, flipping. So the margin in that is much smaller than if I were to sell, hundreds of thousands of dollars of watches. So as a business, I prefer watches because it's more of a volume business. I can buy, sell very fast.
Of course, and the margin also, right?
And how does that compare to like um gemstones, like diamonds? Is it like a similar market structure?
No, so in the diamond industry, so our family business that we have, can I talk about that? Okay. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so the family business we have um is in the wholesale diamond industry. So we wholesale loose diamond. So say for example, we have, say you go to the on the roads in Hong Kong and you see like Chow Tai Fook or any other jewelry store, they'll sell single diamonds, right? We basically sell those, but in tens of thousands of pieces. So how that industry works is that there are different sections in the supply chain. So there's the mining, and then the rough diamonds go to the factory, where they're then cut and then polished, and then from there it comes to um, one of our other offices where they're assorted into different clarities and qualities. And from there, it's then shipped out to our offices around the world where we distribute them as a wholesale in wholesale. Um, so that market it's very different in the sense that there are so many different sectors of the business where you can operate, whereas in watches, there's just one manufacturer and then everyone else. So it's like two levels. There's the manufacturer and then dealers, whereas in diamonds, it's miners, manufacturers, and then
Factory dealers, whatever.
Yeah.
So this would also compare to like, for example, in women's wear, like the luxury handbag market with how rarity and exclusivity is one of the major selling points.
Like Birkin bags.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Oh, yeah, so I have a lot of my a lot of the watch dealers in Hong Kong that I'm friends with, and a lot of our clients are interested in the same thing. So this whole industry is based around collectors. Anyone who likes to collect something, they're most likely going to have an interest in watches because collectors like rare things. They like owning things that are different, that not everyone is going to have. So it's like Birkin bags, collectible cars, watches, so on.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, are some watches more suited to certain people? Like, for example, the Patek 5711 Rose Gold is owned by like Devin Booker, Hardik Pandya, Ishan Kishan, who are all athletes, and they all chose that particular watch. So, how does this work?
So Patek Philippe as a whole, they have their production is also very, very limited. And the clients that they are willing to sell to are also, they're very selective with who they sell their watches to. So people like celebrities or heads of states or basically any VIP, Patek Philippe is willing to sell them the watch because they know that they're not going to resell it. So these brands don't like people who resell watches like us. So they prefer to sell their watch directly to their end consumer, so that like to somebody that they know is going to keep the watch and enjoy it and not sell it in the end. The reason that these people wear these watches is it's mainly hype. It's like why do these people wear LV, or why do they wear designer clothes? It's the hype around that watch. But together with that, there are some celebrities also that are really interested in the horological aspect of these watches. So when you're talking about Patek Philippe, especially the 5711, that specific model is considered one of the most it's one of the most coveted watches in the watch industry ever. So to own a watch like that, it's a collector's piece. So somebody who's really Hardik Pandya has a fully iced out Patek Philippe. So I think that one, it retails at about $1 million US. So someone like him and Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg is a huge Rolex fan. So he has basically every Rolex you can think of.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really depends on the type of uh person you're looking at. If you see like rappers like Quavo, Offset, they have some really nice watches. But then you look at like DJ Khaled, and he has like
Like $5 million thing, right?
yeah,
It's like a full iced out, like
that is 3 million US dollars.
okay.
That's by Jacob and Co. But I'm saying like um a lot of rappers like to wear aftermarket diamond set watches. You know how they say like these bust down watches. Um they particular like those watches are basically destroyed once you set them with diamonds because nobody's gonna buy them again.
Right.
So as an investment, that's a very bad idea to buy aftermarket diamond set watches. But if somebody's buying it with not with the intention of reselling and just buying it so that they can be flashy and show off in that sense, then that's a good idea for that type of collector.
So if you try to sell that again, the value would go down.
It would be
Yeah.
extremely hard to resell that. Yeah, the value would immediately go down after you set the
it.
diamonds. Yeah, because it's not original anymore. It's not a factory diamond. It's not a factory watch.
Mhm.
It's been modified.
Right. Of course.
But like those people don't want to sell it. They just want to use it for personal use, so they do all that.
Yeah, they use it. I mean, most watches they'll be using for personal use, but they wouldn't be buying it as an investment. A lot of people have a wrong idea around aftermarket diamond setting. They think it's going to be more valuable after they put the diamonds in because they're diamonds. But in reality, every time you add diamonds externally from a third party into a watch is going to uh, insanely hurt the value of the watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you consider doing that? Like
So yeah,
would you add diamonds to your clients?
yeah. So I mean, as a watch dealer, it's my job to provide my clients with what they want. So I'm not gonna I wouldn't refuse somebody if they wanted to set their watch with diamonds, but I would inform them about what it would do to their watch. So I would just explain to them what I just told you guys, and then I would let them make that decision for us, because for me, I'm easily able to then take the watch, set the diamonds in whatever design they want to do, and then deliver it to them in that way. But it's then also my responsibility to let them know about what it will do to the value of the watch.
But also, like on a side note, do you agree with the statement made by some people that the choice of watches of Migos, because you mentioned about Takeoff and Offset, right? That the choice of watches of Migos is not very great.
No, they got in.
I think they have pretty good watch choice, Krish.
No, they do. They actually do. Quavo and Offset have some insane watches. They have some like the 5711. They have some extremely rare sapphire set, factory sapphire set, Patek Philippe's. Those so their watch collection is very good. I'm talking about like other like Lil Baby or like what's the other guy's called?
Roddy Rich.
No, yeah, him. What's the guy that has?
No, this guy thinks Migos trash. Migos are trash. That's what
No,
he's saying. He's
Um,
taking shots.
What's that? 6ix9ine.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6ix9ine. His watch is all garbage also, but he has some Richard Milles which are insane. Like they're like he just buys Richard Mille like it's candy. Like he he has some $3 million, $4 million watches. Yeah, they're pretty good. So
But like,
here's
you don't think
here's
that
the-
Migos using like the 5711 is being detrimental to like a Patek Philippe, like to their image? Because you know Migos have been involved in many activities, which
Yeah.
is like catching other people's eyes, and that may like ruin the brand image.
Yeah, but I think like most people in business say, all PR is good PR. So as long as some sort of public figure is wearing that watch, and the general public is getting to see that watch is being put in front of those people, it just overall brings up the name of Patek Philippe. It shows that people like them are wearing Patek Philippe.
Yeah.
Does that kind of public approach to marketing and promotions apply to secondary watch dealers like yourself as well? So for example, if a celebrity were to wear one of your watches, how would kind of the people that their audience realize that it's from your business or not like another secondary dealer or like the brand itself?
Usually when I mean, say we were to sell something to a celebrity, right? Nobody would technically know that we sold it to them unless they specifically said, oh, like they took a photo of it on their Instagram story and be like, you know, they just tag us or something. They tag us in their pictures or they tag us somewhere. They have to mention us somewhere. Otherwise, there's no way to let everyone know that we sold them the watch. Because at the end of the day, it's they're wearing. I'm a watch dealer and my company is Watchden, but I'm selling other brands' products.
So, what advice would you give to teenagers our age in general and specific to wanting to pursue a career in retail business?
If you're talking specifically about the retail business, I would say um, you have to be willing and able to talk to everyone. You can't be shy or you can't shy away from conversations with certain people just because they might be difficult clients or they might be a little bit rude. The whole point of being a good salesman is knowing how to maneuver around these sort of like maneuver around every type of client. It's you need to be able to you need to be versatile. If you're talking about what advice I have for people who want to start a business, I would say if you don't know I'm guessing people your age probably don't know what exactly they want to do in the future or what kind of business they would want to start in the future. For me, I personally think you should just go out and try as many things as you can and experience as much as you can so that when you do experience that one thing that you finally find out you really enjoy, then you can go and figure out how to monetize that.
All right. Thank you so much, Rahul.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Thanks a
doing
lot.
this.
And like everyone, you guys can hit him up if you want any luxury watches. You like you guys.
Yeah, sure. People in year 12 are gonna hit him up for luxury watches.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end for this episode. We're gonna wrap it up now. You can follow him at watchden HK. We'll put the
Here.
right. Yeah, so stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. Go like, subscribe, share it with your friends, whatever.
These socials
like
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed and stay tuned for our next episode. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
number one podcast in KG5 out.
You said it.
Guys, surely you gotta finish with that.
You're about to say world and you're like
In the world, you
Hong
have
Kong.
aspirations.